It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so the sun is shining right into my window. I'm hopefully getting a new phone today, and that will help with the crappy camera problems. Okay, bread machine bagels. I'm making a double batch, so as I'm saying it to you, it's going to be the double batch. But I will have the single batch recipe in the description box. So, 2 cups of water, and this is, ooh, well, I'm going to have to get cold water. This water's hot. 3 tablespoons of sugar, which will be 6 tablespoons of sugar, which will be 1/3 of a cup. And yes, even though I'm making onion bagels, I still put the sugar in it because the sugar is to help the yeast grow in addition to giving sweetness. Okay. 1 1/2 tablespoons of yeast. I keep my yeast in the freezer. It helps keep it fresh. Even as fast as I go through it, I've had it die on me. Okay. Now, 4 teaspoons of onion powder. And 4 tablespoons of the minced onions. I'm going to squash them up a little bit.
No, 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 no!
2, 3, 4. Okay.
Not for long.
I'm going to add just a little bit of water because the onion powder and the onions, as they're rehydrating, will use up some of the water. So we'll give it just a little bit more. And a tablespoon of salt. Remember, this is the double recipe I am doing. Okay, my bread flour. We need 6 cups of flour. And I use bread flour for all my bready things. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's it. Now we'll get it mixing. We'll be back. I'm going to let it mix until the dough is smooth and elasticy. That's what I call it anyway. It's getting there. Now, when this is done mixing, I'm going to whip up a batch of bread real quick. Seamus, you need to be careful, please. Because we're on bread. But this will be all about bagels instead. Seamus is having a plushy battle up in his lap. And one got away. No. Okay, let's check it.
Do this. You can't do this. Oh, no. 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 You can't.
It's a little sticky, and I think that's probably because I added a little extra water for the onions, and they're still hydrating, so
No.
I think it'll be fine.
No.
I mean, it's not like horribly sticky. I could, you know, once it does its first rise, it'll be fine. But let's put some oil in here. Squish it around in the oil, and this will help it to not dry out while it's rising.
Ow!
Just put a paper towel over it. Okay, we'll be back when they're ready to start shaping. Okay. Let's check our dough. It has doubly risen. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need you to help.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. I'm going to need you to film me making the bagels. Because it needs a closer shot. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, in the time that it took me to sweep the floors, our bagel dough is ready, and our bread dough, which I never even covered up, is ready. And this is kind of why I think that a sourdough is going to do really good here, because my yeasts have no trouble here. And we're also at a different elevation than we were, a higher elevation. So I have to add more water and increase my cooking times to make sure everything comes out right. So I'm going to shape up these loaves real quick, and then we'll get to the bagels. These are kind of sticky too, and they're usually not so much, and that tells me that there's a lot of humidity in the air. Especially for how quickly everything rose. Okay. for these. Alright, now let's get to our bagels. Now, one batch typically, well, it says it makes like 4 to 6 large bagels. I don't make them that big. I mean, I make them big, but not that big because then people end up only eating half of it. So we got 5 out of that one. And actually, as I'm shaping them, I'll adjust the amount of dough I need as well. Okay, so there are many different ways of shaping bagels. I've done it this way, which is to make a rope, put it together, and pinch it together like that. I don't like that way because it always leaves that seam, and I've just never ever, no matter how much I try, been able to roll it out, and it makes the bagel uneven. So the way I do it, I start out with a ball, and I can tell by the size of the ball that I've got a little bit too much dough on this one, so I'll just put that somewhere else. Now what I'll do with my thumbs, I flatten my ball out into a disc. Then I stick my thumb in the middle and I go like that. And it smooths up the middle, which is a big deal because other ways the middle is can really not cook well. And there you go. That's how I shape my bagels. And like I said, there's many different schools of bagel shaping. I'm not working in a Jewish deli where they can do it in like 2 seconds. I've seen some of those videos of those guys working in the Jewish deli, and they're like throwing bagels every 2 seconds. I'm probably more touchy about how my bagels look. See, they're kind of sticky, so okay. I stick my finger up the middle, make a ball, pull out the excess. I flatten it into a disc, and I'm pushing the air out too because there's air bubbles in there. See? Push, 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 push. And then when I get a nice sized disc, I put my thumb through the middle. And I do this because I'm smoothing the middle down. That way it'll cook evenly. This is definitely too much dough on this one. Yeah, this is the first time I've made bagels at this house. So I'm gonna have an adjustment period because we are at a higher altitude, and it took me a couple times making bread to figure out what I needed to do. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to go through the same thing with the bagels, because normally, especially when I'm making onion bagels, the dough is dry because it's got that extra onion powder and onion flakes in it, even though I only put in like a couple tablespoons of water, so it wasn't enough to make this big a difference. So I would say that there's a lot of humidity in the air, and our altitude is making a difference in how my dough turns out. And I mean, that's fine. I just work with it and adjust. So I'm probably going to end up getting 12 to 14 bagels out of this. Roll it into a ball. Push it into itself. Drop it. Flatten it into a disc. Push the air bubbles out while you're flattening it. And make sure you're pushing your dough so it's fairly even throughout. And then stick your thumb through and then smooth it out in the middle. And that's it. I mean, as far as shaping the bagels, now I'm going to, once I get these all shaped out, we're gonna do another rise, and then we'll boil them, and then we'll bake them. And I mean, the reason that I smooth the middle is because when it's all rough and craggly, it doesn't cook, you know, while the rest of the bagel's baking, the middle stays kind of moist and soggy. So, and that happens especially when you make a rope and put it together. This is why I do it this way. This is after experimenting with a bunch of different ways. This is what I found works best for me. I mean, I'm sure other people have other ways that work best for them, but we'll have 12 bagels. This will be a big one. Okay. Just gonna get these so I can cover them. There. That'll work. Let's check our sourdough. I saved most of it. I'm wearing a little bit of it.
You alright?
I'm fine.
What happened?
It fell. The lid wasn't on as tight as I thought it was on, and it fell, but I caught it and it splashed up at me. I am an accident waiting to happen. Scott can attest to that. And not on purpose. I'm just a clumsy elf. Okay, so here's the sourdough. It's reconstituted. So now we'll make our sourdough mix after I clean my face off. Okay. So, smell sour. Okay. Feed your starter with 1/8 of a cup of milk 1/8 of a cup of flour, and 1/16 cup of sugar. Okay. Some different measurements there, but okay. Always use a wooden spoon with sourdough. Okay, so 1/8 of a cup of sugar. Actually, can you hand me that cup right there? Yeah. This is 1/4 of a cup, so half of it is 1/8 of a cup. 1/8 of a cup of sugar. Cup of flour, and 1/8 of a cup of milk. Okay, so we're going to stir that all good. Make sure it's all combined. And now what the sourdough is what it's gonna do is feed on the sugars and everything else and grow. So each day we'll add a little bit more. Some of these sourdough nodules that splashed up. Okay. That's that. I think instead of using a paper towel, I'm going to cover this with cheesecloth. And really, it's just to keep the kitties and the bugs and the dust out of it. Okay, I'll be back when the bagels are ready to boil. Look how big our bagels are. Aren't they beautiful? So now it's time to boil them. Okay. Put some molasses in the boiling water. It helps brown the bagels. I'll stick my fingers through the hole a little bit. Put them in. One minute in the water, and I usually do 30 seconds one side and 30 seconds the other side. And they look kind of goofy. They look kind of goofy when I take them out of the water because they're all like wrinkled, like if you took a bath for too long. But they'll totally change while they're baking. Flip them over. These actually grew a lot more than I had expected. That's always a good thing, though. this is it. You just boil them for a minute. Get them on your pan.
What's on your pan?
Oh, I have parchment paper and corn meal. That's to help it from sticking. Because even, you know, I used to just do the pans with cornmeal on them, but I put the parchment paper on, they still really stick to the parchment paper because they're wet and they're baking. So the cornmeal really helps. My finger's getting stuck. Yeah, they are very sticky. They're normally not so sticky. But like I said, it's due to the humidity in the air. Which, I guess my body wasn't alerted to because I feel dry as a piece of sawdust. Dry air ash. Okay. And we will be right back when this is all done. Okay. They're all boiled and they will go into a 375 degree oven. They cook for a half an hour, but I always turn the trays and switch racks at 15 minutes. So we'll do 15 minutes and then 15 minutes. And I will come back when they are completely done. Okay, guys. Our beautiful, luscious bagels are done. Look at those. And like I said, they expanded a lot more than I expected them to. But it's funny because, I mean, just, I don't know, what's the altitude differences here from where we used to live?
Probably only about 500-600 feet, but we're about 1,200 feet elevation here.
Well, for only being 500-600 feet, it makes a huge difference in my baking. But, yeah, so there we go. Bread and bagels. Ta-da! Aren't they pretty? And, you know, I was doing the bread behind the scenes. I think you saw me mix it up maybe, but making your own is so easy. I made 2 loaves of bread and 12 bagels in a couple hours. You can do it yourself, definitely. So, if you want any information, if you need any help, if you'd like to know how to adjust the recipe to make a different flavor other than onion bagels, leave me a comment in the comment section. Like I said, the recipe will be in the description box below. And that's it. So, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.